Steve here, coming to bring you guys an updated Salamangreat deck profile. I know it's kind of late, but I did say I was going to do an update profile, and I do have a profile for a Dragon Race coming soon, so stay tuned for that. So let's get straight to the profile. So me, I play mini all gas, no rig. So I do play hand traps, but I play 3 Lady D bugs, and I play 3 Flame Buffalo. These starters, it's a side burst so you can discard for Flame Buffalo. And I like to have an option. So Lady D-Bug is more good for the normal summon because it gets you straight to Gazelle, while Buffalo nets you more card advantage and more resources. So that's why I play both of them. You can either cut this to 2 or you can cut this to 2. It don't really matter. But as long as you play either one of these, you're fine. But me, I play both of them. Next starter, you play the Foxy. This guy is like the second best normal summon. That's not the first because he could get you a card. And then if you don't use his normal summon effect, you could summon him from the grave by pitching a card. So it's a free Salamangreat summon, and he destroys a face-up spell or trap. So he's a very utility base card. So you use him when you need to out certain cards or get free Salamangreat monster on board without your normal summon. So you can bait into actions. So this is your actual Salamangreat starter. I say this is kind of like a pseudo starter because this card can get you Sunlight Wolf by itself. You normal summon to Banelink to bring it back. Sunlight Wolf, boom. So it's a really good card, and it triggers your Gazelle, and it's a 500 attack boost, which is pretty good to out certain monsters when you need to. So like if you need to out like a window, it gets your Salamangreat up to 23 by 100. So yeah, it's a really good card. People was cutting this card to 2 because of Mirage Stallion, but they're gonna end up playing it back at 3 when Mirage Stallion come back. So I think it's always been a standard card at 3. 2 flame, two Jaguars, because if you banish one or your opponent banish one, you want to make sure you always have another one so you have a grand game. And this is not really bad of a normal summon because he can always come back from grave, so he's essentially a Sunlight Wolf. And he recycle your extra deck resources in grave. The to play 1 foul, because you can lock back row, and it's a free chain block because either we on Salamangreat or normal or special summon, he special summon himself. So it's a good extender. Gazelle, because it's the MVP. This card is broken, that's why it's in 1. Salamangreat Falco. This card is kind of broken too, because you can summon it. If you get it on board and link it off, it can set your trap spells or traps. Field spell, your continuous spells, it can set anything, and then while it's in grave, it can bounce your Salamangreat monster back to your hand and summon himself. So it's like a replacement, but to also give yourself a hand advantage again. So it replaces the monster on field, but also give your monster back to hand. So it's a pretty good card. Sorry, that's my fan going. So yeah, I only play 1 prohibited snake. You can add it back from the graveyard, and it's searchable off of your debug. So hand traps, 3 Ash, because it's the hand trap that came in the deck. It's standard to play 3 because you can add it back from graveyard, so you can constantly recur the same Ash Blossom over and over again. So you probably only need 1 Ash Blossom, but you can literally use it every turn or every other turn. But I keep adding it back. So that's one of my hand traps. The other hand traps I play is Bell because it hits a lot of other cards. It hits 3 cards just like Ash Blossom. Pretty generic, hits a lot of cards. So another card I was thinking about putting in is either Drove. So I'm thinking maybe not cutting this for Drove, but I would probably cut the next hand trap. But I doubt it because the next hand trap is pretty good too. So I'll probably either have to make room for Drove since I play so many starters. So 3 bills, so that's 6. I play 9 hand traps. The third one I play is Perm. Imperm, stop monsters on field, stop Predator, Anaconda, Window. So many cards that locks you out, Barrier Statue. It's a really good card. It just has no effect. And you can use it during each play turn while you control no cards. And it's also the trap, so it's good bait for setting your traps to make your opponent think you set your Salamangreat traps. Hopefully they hit the wrong card, hit the impermanent, and they left your counter trap or your rage. For the spells, I play the starter, Salamangreat. You gotta play this at 3 because this card is just broken. It can also trigger your gazelle effect. So if you pitch the Salamangreat for the effect and you add the Salamangreat to hand, it still has like a later effect where it still remembers that the Salamangreat would pitch the grave to search itself, and it would special summon itself immediately off this card. So it's pretty good. I mean, not pretty good, but it's really good, to be honest with you. So yeah, Salamangreat is kind of busted card in this deck. Not many Cyberburst monsters could do that. For the next card I play at 3, I play this at 3 because I want my normal summon for Foxy always to mean something. So I need to have as many good Salamangreat targets in the deck as possible. And this card is broken because this is the only card that allows Salamangreats to continue to compete after Nibiru was introduced into the format and anti-meta. So this card helps you place the Nibiru, and I would definitely, any card that helps me play the hand traps, I would probably want to play 3 of. So there's no reason for me to cut this card at 2. I mean, if I open up 2, I can always just pitch the second one. And then you can just recur them from grave. So it's a really good card. I don't understand why people cut it at 2. I guess I can see if it's getting clunky, you play 40 cards, but I play 41. So I'll be fine. I play the 5 Desires because I don't want to banish all my wheels. You play 2 wheels, you got a good chance to banish 2 wheels instead of all 3 wheels. So I'd rather play 2 Desires with 3 wheels for consistency. So yeah, this card is pretty good too here. It's a free card in Salamangreat because you play either you search Salamangreat Gazelle early and you really don't care about your Salamangreat quick play spell. You just want to see Salamangreat monsters, or you want to see wheel. That's going to allow you to push for extra resources so you can go for game next turn. Salamangreat Circle, because it's the searcher. That's at 1. You can reset it off. All these cards you can reset off Sunlight Wolf. Add back off Sunlight Wolf or set them off Falco. So the last spell you play is Sanctuary, the field spell, which helps you relink your link monsters. Then I play 2 of the counter traps, and I play 2 of the rages. Because I play Power of Desires at 2, I don't want to risk banishing my traps. So if you play 1 of this, a lot of people play 1, 2 like this, you would banish your rage, your roar, and I think the roar is very detrimental in this format because it's a counter trap and it's an Omni Negate. The Omni Negate is more important than pops because some cards just can't be destroyed by card effects. So it'd be better for you to have a counter trap to stop the cards from even getting to the field. So I play 2-2. Let's get to the extra because I did not make a side for this deck. I did have one originally, but I put it up. So extra deck, you play 3 Baylinces. You don't play 2. In the grand game, if you have a hard time, this 3rd Baylince could be everything you need. Because if your opponent have a way to pop one of your Salamangreats or your normal summon and stop you from extending for game and make it kill you next game, then this card is detrimental. Because it protects all the cards, and not just if they pop 2 of your Salamangreat cards that's face up. This card, 1 card will protect all of them, which I think is pretty broken. And on top of this, search is the field spell. So, and it takes any level 4 generic Cyberburst monster. So you must play Baylince at 3. It's your protection for your follow-up play. Sometimes I don't even like to banish this card on my opponent's turn. I'd probably let them kill my monster if I know they're going to end up with a pop when they field. But if it's like a bounce, it really don't matter if you use it. It'd be better for you to use it on your opponent's turn. If you know your opponent can set up a bounce, because popping a card, this card works against, but bouncing doesn't do nothing. Like, it literally avoids the effect. So if you know your opponent set up a bounce, protect to try to keep 1 on field before you know something for your next turn. Just keep 1 Salamangreat. If not, then just let it go and just make sure you have this card for your follow-up. And try not to turbo through your Baylinces, because this is like your starter play. Once you open up 1 Salamangreat and you only have ability to get 1 on field, then you need this card. If you don't open the Salamangreat, you just open a Lady D-Bug or something. You need this card to go into so you can trigger your other Salamangreats in grave. I know I spent too long on that card, but it's a good card. This is another good card. This card just nags you plus you 2 in resources every time, and make your opponent feel like they nag every time they see this card, because it adds a monster back, it adds a trap back, so it adds back a follow-up play and interruption. So this card is pretty busted on what it does, and the arrows is just perfect. And it got a decent amount of attack too, so I like the rare ones. I don't really like the ultra rares. The ultra rares are cool, don't get me wrong, but I like the artwork for the rare ones better. But this guy, he spin back spell trap when he summon, and you know your Jaguar put these back, so you don't need to play 3 of these. You have to only play 2, because you always put 1 back and then just redo it next time. But essentially with these guys, if you go into him, you want to go into him twice, so you can spin back 2 of the back row. I'd say if you know you're finna push for game, or you finna literally break the difference in y'all resources in the resource game, like say you know your opponent only had 2 set back rows with no interruption in hand, then it's best for you to go into him to spin those 2 cards back, or to try to trigger them cards before you use any of your detrimental cards to go for your game. So yeah, and he's a link 3, so he's easy to make. You just need a link 2 on 1 monster, which is a Sunlight Wolf. And then you got this guy, which for the same reason you only play 2, but when he link summon himself, he nukes the board, spell traps a monster, blow everything up. Then on top of that, he can bring back a link monster to burn your opponent for whatever the attack is for that monster, that link monster. Yeah, it's a really good card. You can summon one to your opponent's field, and it's 28 attack, so it's kind of hard to beat over, especially if you have back row backing him. So what I like to do, I like to go into him where I know I have traps, either Rage or Roar. Mainly Rage, because you can pop 4 if you relink summon him, and popping up to 4 cards off 1 trap is really busted. On top of that, you accompany it with a counter trap to ensure that it goes through. Update Jammer for OTK. I mean, you wanna, if you go in second, this card you really wanna go to first. Take 2 Cyburst monsters that's level 2 or higher, and then make any link monsters you're going to attack twice. So it's pretty good. Make sure link monster indestructible. I play this because you can make your Sunlight Wolf, if you have a lot of material like extra monsters to summon, make your Sunlight Wolf indestructible by card effects, which is pretty good. So your opponent probably not going to beat over it, because you have your trap that's going to pop cards. And then you can protect your Salamangreat in the grave as well from battle. So just to give it an extra protection from card effect or any of your other link monsters from card effect is kind of busted. Yeah, Nightmare Unicorn, because IP Masquerena is link 3. You can easily lick it off as a quick effect on your opponent's turn. So I mean, Nightmare Unicorn could be almost anything. I play Transpo Talker because you can bring back a link. Also, you can use it with Update Jammer, bring back Update Jammer. Update Jammer's 25, he's 28, and he's 28 attack twice, and he can be targeted. So it's good when you summon him and then bring back Sunlight Wolf. And then if you didn't relink summon that Sunlight Wolf, because now that Sunlight Wolf is relink summon and cannot be targeted, and you can protect it once per turn, which means the only card you can't protect is this guy though. But they can't target though. So, and for the last card, obviously I finally got it, but SS Pro Talker for the OTK. What took me so long to make the deck profile is I didn't have this card. I said chucked it up and just paid $100 for it, because it does in games. If you know you got a card that you play in tournaments and you know it's detrimental to your strategy to help you literally in games, buy the card. There's no point in not buying the card, because the card is going to help you more than it's going to hinder you in price. You're not even going to be worried about the price, and this card probably may not get reprinted, because it's such a staple card for the box. But you guys have blessed. Let me know with the feedback on the profile. Y'all have a blessed day.